couldn't handle that I was willing to fight so much to make sure that Robyn was safely kept.
It's not that they couldn't handle it, it's that you couldn't fight for them.
That's a terrible line.
We're paused for the commercials. It's not that he didn't fight, that he fought too much for Robyn. It's that he didn't fight at all for the others.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was that you lacked the willingness to fight for anybody but Robyn.
Yeah, rephrase it sounds like, oh yeah, they couldn't handle that I only fought for one of you guys and not the others.
Oh, you just knew it was coming, and Mykelty and Tony did not disappoint. They came in hot, unfiltered, and ready to stir the pot like it's Thanksgiving dinner at the Browns. The latest episode that dropped Sunday? Yeah, that one wasn't just dramatic. It was combustible. I had a feeling at least a few of Christine's kids were going to pop off. And right on cue, Mykelty and Tony brought the spice and the smoke. Because let's be honest, when the rest of the Brown family starts playing PR cleanup for Cody and Robyn, these two come in swinging with truth bombs that nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to. And you know what? It's about time someone said it. Stick around. Because what they revealed and the tone they used, it's going to have Robyn clutching her pearls and Cody rewriting his next "I'm the victim" speech before the next episode airs. Because, let's be real, these are Christine's kids. Cody has made it painfully obvious he wants nothing to do with anyone who doesn't share DNA with Robyn. He's not a father. He's a selective parent with a favorite wife and a spotlight addiction. So, in this new episode, what do we get? Cody doing what Cody does best, moving, moping, and monologuing. He's still crying about the dissolution of his family, pretending to be some tragic hero while Robyn sits beside him saying she's not happy all the time. Please. The woman sitting in her designer McMansion 2.0, crying crocodile tears because the narrative isn't landing like it used to. And what's their big solution to all this supposed pain and chaos? Running away. Again, Cody and Robyn's version of healing apparently means buying a bigger house. Because nothing screams broken family and spiritual grief like upgrading to an even larger property you don't need. Just to prove you're still on top. It's not healing. It's hiding. And the viewers, we're not buying a single tear of it. Because here's the thing, Cody and Robyn are doing what they always do. Running from their problems and calling it healing. They're leaving one Flagstaff mansion just to move into another Flagstaff mansion. Yeah, real growth there. Champ. But what really set Mykelty off was Cody's classic blame game. Instead of owning up to his failures as a husband and father, he's out here pointing fingers at the women, saying they weren't happy because they were jealous of Robyn. That's right. Jealous of the woman who cried her way into control of the entire family. And you could tell this hit a nerve. Because Mykelty, who's usually diplomatic, usually careful with her words, finally cracked. For the first time, she called it like it is. And honestly, it was refreshing. But the real surprise, Tony popped off. And not in a quiet, sideline way either. No, he went straight for the jugular. You could see he's done watching Cody rewrite history and Robyn play the perpetual victim. This wasn't just commentary. This was a reckoning. Mykelty and Tony finally said what everyone's been screaming at the TV for years. Robyn wasn't the peacemaker. She was the problem. These two walked into that Patreon live with energy. You could just feel it.
Tony
had that look like, all right, what did Cody say this time? You know, the vibe, that slow simmer of frustration before the inevitable explosion. Because at this point, let's be real, Cody is not on Tony's favorite list. Not even close. And the best part? Mykelty didn't even try to reel him in. Nope. She was right there with him. You could tell these two were done pretending. Done covering for anyone, especially Robyn. That's the part that shocked everyone. For years, Mykelty has been careful, defending Robyn, trying to stay neutral. But now, that loyalty is gone. It's like the floodgates finally opened. And all that pent-up frustration came pouring out. It's wild to see because this is the first real crack in the Robyn's the victim narrative coming from inside the family. Tony and Mykelty aren't playing nice anymore. And they're not afraid to say what we've all been thinking. The truth's finally catching up to Cody and Robyn. It takes a lot to get Mr. Antonio fired up. But when he does, you know something's gone seriously wrong. And this time, he's had enough. He's officially fed up with both Cody and Robyn, because after everything, the drama, the tears, the chaos, the fresh start storyline, they're still miserable. Let's break it down. These two just bought a brand new house. Supposedly, it's their big escape from all the bad memories. The thing that's going to fix their family, heal their hearts, bring them peace. But what do they do instead? Complaint, mourn, play the same tired woe is us act. Tony sees right through it, and honestly, who can blame him? Cody and Robyn got exactly what they wanted. They ran away, isolated themselves, and built their own little kingdom. Yet here they are, still crying about being misunderstood.
It's
almost poetic, if it wasn't so pathetic. In the way Tony said it, you could tell this wasn't just shade. This was fed-up energy. The man's done with the victim's performance. Done with the crocodile tears. Done with watching two people pretend to suffer while sitting in an 8,000-square-foot mansion. During her Patreon stream, Mykelty didn't hold back, not even a little. She straight up said what everyone has been thinking, but no one in the family dared to say out loud. Cody didn't buy that house because he needed a fresh start. He bought it because Robyn wanted it. According to Mykelty, this wasn't about healing or grief or moving forward. Nope. This was about keeping Robyn happy again. Every big decision Cody makes somehow circles back to Robyn's comfort, Robyn's tears, Robyn's needs. It's like the man can't breathe without checking if Robyn approves first. Mykelty said it best. That bigger house wasn't about space or peace or rebuilding the family. It was about appeasing Robyn, the same way he's done for years. Cody's not chasing happiness, he's chasing Robyn's approval. And the worst part, he's losing everyone else in the process. Mykelty calling this out publicly is huge. It means the silence is officially over. The kids aren't afraid to tell it like it is anymore. And honestly, it's about time. According to Mykelty, Robyn isn't some faithful, misunderstood woman trying to hold the family together in the name of religion. Nope. Mykelty flat out scoffed at that idea. She said Robyn doesn't even want to live her religion. Not really. She doesn't wear her garments, doesn't go to church, doesn't practice the beliefs she once preached to everyone else. Mykelty pointed out that Robyn and Cody have completely stepped away from the faith they used to claim as the backbone of their family. They're not involved in their community anymore. They don't follow the standards, and honestly, their behavior breaks every rule they once said was sacred. And that's when Mykelty hit the nail on the head. She said Robyn didn't want faith. Robyn wanted polygamy. She wanted the status, the attention, the image of being the spiritual wife. The truth? Robyn loved the idea of polygamy, the power, the control, not the principles behind it. So when Cody and Robyn cry about losing their family or grieving the lifestyle, Mykelty is basically saying, what lifestyle? You already abandoned the faith long ago. It's honestly fascinating to watch this shift play out in real time. Seeing Mykelty and Tony's perspective evolve after years of staying silent. For so long, they tried to toe the family line to play neutral. But now, they're seeing Robyn exactly the way we've seen her all along. The blinders are off. Mykelty's not buying the poor Robyn routine anymore. And she made that very clear. What's even more interesting is that she had more to say about that massive new house. Because let's be real, the McMansion isn't just a home. It's a symbol. Mykelty straight up questioned why her dad and Robyn needed a bigger house when they keep saying they're lonely and grieving. She pointed out that every time something goes wrong, instead of facing the issues head-on, they run, and this house is just another example of that. Another escape. It's something fans have suspected for years, but hearing Mykelty actually say it out loud, that hit was different. Kody Brown has always had his hierarchy, the chosen ones and the others. The chosen are the kids who feed his ego, who play into his need for control and admiration. They get the smiles, the attention, the dad of the year moments for the cameras. And then there are the others, the 13 kids he's essentially ghosted. The ones who don't worship him, who call out the truth, who refuse to play along with his and Robyn's fantasy world. Those are the ones he's emotionally discarded. Mykelty didn't mince words. She made it clear that her dad doesn't even Consider those other kids anymore. No text, no calls, no check-ins, just silence. It's like once you stop feeding his delusion, you stop existing. And honestly, that's not just sad, it's disgusting. This man spent years on TV bragging about being the leader of a big, loving family. And now he's reduced that family into two categories: the ones who praise him and the ones he pretends never existed. It's official, Kody Brown's perfect dad image has finally crumbled. And it's his own kids swinging the hammer. Mykelty opened up about her grandfather, Win, Kody's dad, and the picture she painted was chillingly familiar. A man who didn't hug his kids, didn't tell them he loved them, didn't nurture, he just demanded obedience. Affection was replaced with authority, love was conditional. Respect wasn't earned, it was expected. And now, Kody has become a carbon copy of that man. Mykelty straight up said it. Her father doesn't want love, he wants respect. That's the only currency that matters to him. It's the generational curse that never got broken. Win valued power over connection, and Kody inherited that blueprint, then weaponized it against his own family. He's so obsessed with being the patriarch that he's forgotten what being a father actually means. Mykelty and her siblings see it clearly now. They were raised in the shadow of a man who measures worth by submission, not love. And after everything, the neglect, the favoritism, the gaslighting, they're finally done trying to earn his approval. Kody wanted respect. What he got was rejection. And honestly, that's karma in its purest form. Exactly. And Mykelty said it perfectly. She pointed out that her generation, Kody's kids, they're different. They've seen the world. They've been exposed to therapy, to healthy relationships, to the concept of boundaries and accountability. They're not trapped inside that old school mindset of obey the patriarch, no questions asked. They know better now. They know that respect isn't automatic. It's earned. You don't just hand it out because someone happens to share your DNA. Mykelty said what needed to be said. Love is what matters, not fear. Not dominance, not forced reverence. You can't demand love by intimidating people. You have to show up for them, consistently, honestly, and without conditions. Kody doesn't get that, and that's the tragedy here. He's so busy chasing the respect he thinks he deserves that he's forgotten how to give the love his kids need. And that's why this new generation, Mykelty, Maddie, Garrison's memory, all of them are rewriting the family narrative. They're not going to repeat Kody's mistakes. They're not going to worship authority. They're choosing healing over hierarchy. Mykelty finally said it out loud. Kody's love is conditional. He demands loyalty, obedience, and performance. And if you don't give him those things, you're cut off. His version of family comes with a rule book and a scorecard. And if you fall short, he withdraws affection like it's a punishment. But here's where it gets powerful. Mykelty said no more. She and her siblings now understand that love isn't something you have to earn by walking on eggshells. You don't have to mold yourself into what someone else wants just to deserve connection. That's not love, that's control, and it's honestly incredible to see her growth. For years, Mykelty defended Kody. She'd make excuses for his behavior, try to smooth things over, pretend things weren't as bad as they looked. But this new version of her? She's connecting the dots in real time, and she's not afraid to say it how it is anymore. It's not about disrespect, it's about boundaries. It's about knowing when enough is enough and refusing to settle for conditional love. The Brown kids aren't staying silent anymore. And honestly, it's about time. For so long, she tried to see the best in her dad. She gave him the benefit of the doubt over and over again, hoping maybe he'd finally step up, maybe he'd change, maybe this time he'd put his kids first. But that hope's gone now, and you could feel it in her voice. When the topic of that massive new house came up, the so-called fresh start for Cody and Robyn, Mykelty snapped. Not out of anger for the money or the move itself, but because of what it represented. The bigger house wasn't about healing or rebuilding. It was about running away, again. It was another excuse for Cody and Robyn to isolate themselves, while pretending to be the victims of everyone else's choices, and that's what broke her patience. She's tired of self-pity. Tired of the blame game. Tired of watching her dad rewrite the narrative, while completely ignoring the pain he caused. That was the moment. Mykelty stopped protecting his image and started protecting her peace. And honestly, it's powerful to watch. She's not holding back anymore. This is the same girl who used to go to war defending her dad and Robyn. Anytime her siblings spoke up about favoritism, about the obvious divide, Mykelty would jump in, shutting it down, denying it, even gaslighting herself just to believe her family was wrong. She truly wanted to believe her dad was fair and that Robyn wasn't the reason for the chaos. But now, she's finally calling it what it is. She said straight up, it wasn't jealousy. It wasn't that the other wives couldn't handle plural marriage. It was that Kody stopped choosing them. He stopped fighting for them. He made his decision every single day when he prioritized Robyn. And now he's living with the fallout of those choices. That's not polygamy falling apart. That's Kody's accountability coming due. And the fact that Mykelty can say this. No, that's growth. That's a daughter waking up from years of denial. Finally seeing that love isn't supposed to come with conditions or favoritism. Mykelty didn't just call her dad out. She exposed the entire illusion he's been hiding behind. When she said he chose not to care about anyone else. That wasn't just frustration. That was years of hurt boiling over. Because she's right. Kody didn't just pick Robyn as his wife. He picked her over everyone else. Over his other wives. Over his own children. And that's the part that stings the most. For years, Mykelty defended him. She tried to find the good. She tried to believe that maybe there was still some fairness left in her dad. But now she's done pretending. She's finally saying what so many of us have seen for years. Kody built his own lonely kingdom by choosing one woman's comfort over the love of an entire family. And when Mykelty says all this without hesitation, it's not just rebellion. It's revelation. She's done protecting the narrative. She's done tiptoeing around her dad's ego or Robyn's tears. She's telling the truth, raw and unfiltered. All that grief, all that porous talk from Kody and Robyn. It's just noise to cover what they did. Mykelty separating herself this far from Robyn and Kody isn't betrayal. It's healing, because the way Kody's suddenly saying Mykelty's name this season, it's giving damage control. This man who could barely acknowledge half his kids for years is now name-dropping Mykelty, like he's proud, like they're close. That doesn't just happen out of nowhere. That happens after a very uncomfortable conversation where somebody finally told him the truth. It feels like Mykelty might have had one of those enough is enough talks, the kind that doesn't stay polite. The kind where you finally tell your parents how much they've hurt people, how tired you are of favoritism, how sick you are of watching them pretend. Because the timing lines up perfectly. Mykelty starts getting vocal on Patreon, calling him out, saying what everyone else is afraid to say. And suddenly, Kody's over here on national TV, dropping her name like he's the world's most involved dad. Please, it's not genuine warmth. It's image management. He's trying to remind everyone, see, I talked to Mykelty. We're fine, but it's transparent. We can see it. And it's almost funny because while Kody's saying her name for optics, Mykelty's out here saying his name with honesty. One's talking for control. The other's talking for closure. But here's the thing, Miss Robyn Brown. The same woman who cried on camera about how much she loved Mykelty, like her own daughter. The same woman who swore up and down that Mykelty's babies were her grandbabies. Where's that energy now? Because we all remember those teary confessionals. Robyn wasn't just saying it once. She said it constantly. I love Mykelty like she's my own. Her kids are my grandkids. We're one big family. All those warm, fuzzy words. That sounded so good when the cameras were rolling, but when the real test came, when Mykelty finally started speaking truth and refusing to play along with the favoritism, where did Robyn go? Suddenly, that bonus mom, love dried up faster than the Flagstaff soil. Suddenly, the woman who wanted to be seen as the glue holding the family together went silent. It's almost like that love came with fine print. As long as you don't question me. As long as you stay loyal to me and Kody, I'll love you like my own. But the moment Mykelty stopped playing along, Robyn vanished from the Mom of the Year act. It's heartbreaking, and it's manipulative. Because love isn't conditional. Real love doesn't depend on whether or not you're protecting someone's image, and fans are starting to see it too. The mask is slipping. The "I love all my kids equally" storyline doesn't match her actions anymore, and Mykelty calling her out, even indirectly, just made that crystal clear, and that's the biggest tell of all. Silence. Robyn hasn't said Mykelty's name once this entire season. Not once. And Mykelty? She hasn't uttered Robyn's name either. She talks about her dad, sure, but notice how Robyn is just gone from her vocabulary? That's not a coincidence. That's a Cold War playing out in real time. Something definitely went down between those two behind the scenes. You don't go from calling someone your bonus mom, your second mother, your safe space, to acting like they don't exist unless there's real pain there. Unless there's betrayal, and now watching Mykelty finally connect the dots, it's so clear. She's realizing what so many of the other kids figured out long ago, that Robyn was the turning point. The catalyst. The wedge that drove her father away from the rest of the family. Mykelty sees it now, the favoritism, the manipulation, the emotional divide, and she's not sugarcoating it anymore. She's recognizing that her dad didn't just lose his family by accident. He chose this. He chose Robyn. He threw away decades of love, loyalty, and family bonds, for one. And that, right there, is the heartbreak that sits under every scene this season. The silence between Robyn and Mykelty says more than any confessional ever could. Now they both finally have what they wanted. Cody has his one true love, and Robyn has the husband she fought so hard to secure. They won. They got the fairy tale. They tore an entire family apart to build. And yet they're miserable. And instead of owning that, they're spinning the same tired story, blaming everyone else for their unhappiness. Suddenly, it's all the ex-wife's fault.
It's
the kid's fault. It's jealousy. It's disloyalty. It's everyone but them. But here's the truth that Mykelty and the rest of us can see from a mile away. Robyn didn't want religion. She wanted rank. She didn't want sisterhood. She wanted status. If she truly cared about living her faith, she would have done the work. She would have reached out to the other wives, tried to mend those relationships, tried to rebuild what she helped break. But instead, she isolated Cody, turned the family into factions, and then cried victim when everything crumbled. So no, Robyn, you didn't want to live your religion. You wanted the spotlight. You wanted Cody to yourself. And now that you've got him, you're realizing the cold truth. You can't pray your way into peace when your happiness was built on heartbreak. Because Mykelty finally said out loud what everyone has been dancing around for years. He didn't even try. Cody didn't fight for his family. He didn't try to make things right. He just picked Robyn and walked away from the wreckage like it wasn't his doing. And when Robyn has the nerve to sit there on camera saying, "I just wanted to live my religion. I wanted polygamy," Mykelty called her out with pure fire. No, you didn't. You didn't want to live your religion. You wanted Cody. You wanted the man, the status, the security, and once you had him, you didn't care who got hurt in the process. And the brutal truth, Cody fell for it. He fell for the fantasy and abandoned every other person who ever stood by him. The wives, the kids, everyone. Mykelty nailed it. She said it exactly how it is. Robyn didn't fall in love with the principle. She fell in love with the power that came with being the one. And now the rest of the family is left to pick up the pieces of a faith that neither of them actually practiced. Exactly. And that's the moment where Mykelty drove the knife in and twisted it. She said Robyn could have lived polygamy with anyone else, but never with Cody, because the second those two fell in love, it was game over. The whole principle they claimed to stand for? Done. The balance? Destroyed. And Mykelty's not wrong. In true plural marriage, you're not supposed to deeply fall for one person, because once that happens, the rest of the dynamic collapses. When you're obsessed with one spouse, you start building a wall between that favorite and everyone else, and that's exactly what Cody did. He didn't just fall for Robyn, he merged with her. Their love turned into isolation, into control, into resentment. That's why the family fell apart. That's why the other wives walked And that's why even the kids are calling it what it is. Not faith, not love. Not unity, just favoritism disguised as destiny. Mykelty finally said what the entire Sister Wives audience has been screaming for years. Robyn and Cody weren't living polygamy. They were living monogamy with collateral damage. Tony nailed it right on the head. It's not that the other wives couldn't handle polygamy. No, they couldn't handle the fact that Cody only cared about one woman. Period. When Tony said that, it was like the truth finally cut through all of Cody's self-pity. Because let's be honest, Cody loves to rewrite history. He paints the other wives as jealous, difficult, or disobedient. But in reality, all they wanted was a husband who showed up for everyone, not just one person. Mykelty's face said it all. She knows her dad didn't lose his family because of polygamy. He lost it because he stopped trying the moment Robyn entered the picture. Robyn got the loyalty, the attention, the pedestal. Everyone else got excuses. And Tony? He's just saying what the audience has been yelling at the screen for years. They couldn't handle that I only cared about one.
Exactly.
You didn't just lose your wives, Cody. You abandoned your role as a father, a husband, and the so-called leader of your family. That's the truth nobody in that family wants to say out loud. Cody keeps spinning this story like he's the one who got left behind, like somehow everyone else just couldn't handle his version of love. But what he's really saying is that he was only ever emotionally available to one person, Robyn. Everyone else was just background noise. And now, even after getting exactly what he wanted, the house, the wife, the isolation, he's still miserable. Because deep down, Cody knows the happiness he and Robyn built came at the expense of everyone else's heartbreak. You can't build a peaceful life on the ashes of 4 families you helped burn down. Mykelty and Tony see it. Clearly now, there's no redemption arc coming. Cody and Robyn can buy bigger houses, cry bigger tears, and tell bigger lies, but they'll never escape what they did. You can move zip codes, but you can't outrun your karma. Cody and Robyn can buy $1 million mansion, fill it with designer furniture, and throw around those crocodile tears all they want, but money can't patch over the wreckage they've left behind. Robyn once said, "It's just a cheap version." But let's be real, that's what their entire relationship has become. A cheap version of love, a broken version of family, and a shallow version of faith. Every square foot of that new house is built on the pain of people they discarded, the wives they humiliated, the kids they alienated, and the hearts they trampled. You can't buy peace, you can't decorate over guilt, and you can't move far enough to escape the truth. Cody and Robyn's empire of denial is cracking, and the world is finally seeing them for what they are. 2 people trying to outspend their shame. I'm proud of Mykelty, seriously. This girl has come so far. Watching her evolve has been nothing short of incredible. She's standing up for herself now. She's standing up for her siblings. She's finally speaking her truth without hesitation, without filters. No more pretending. No more gaslighting herself to defend what doesn't need defending. It's like watching someone finally remove a mask they've worn for years. And honestly, it's about time. She's finally being herself, unapologetically. This isn't just about Mykelty. This is about every single kid who has been caught in the middle of Cody and Robyn's chaos. The manipulation, the favoritism, the endless guilt trips. These kids have spent years navigating a house where love was conditional, where respect was demanded, not earned, where loyalty came with strings attached, and now they're finally realizing they don't have to play that game anymore. Mykelty's growth is proof that you can break free. You can call out favoritism, lies, and emotional chaos. She's connecting the dots, seeing the pattern, and no longer afraid to name what so many of us have been screaming at the TV for years. And watching her stand up, it's powerful. It's cathartic. It's a reminder that you don't have to stay silent just because someone says you should. And let's be real, escaping narcissistic abuse isn't easy. It's messy. It's painful. It's confronting your own family and realizing the people who were supposed to protect you sometimes caused the most harm. But real freedom, the kind that sticks, it comes when you finally understand that none of it was your fault. Not a single bit. Kody's manipulations, Robyn's favoritism, the games, the lies, that's all on them. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is on the kids. And once you understand that, everything shifts. Your voice matters. Your boundaries matter. Your life matters. You start seeing the world differently. You start demanding better. And that's exactly what Mykelty is doing. She's showing the Augies and anyone watching that there's a way out. A way to be free. To live unencumbered. To not carry guilt that isn't yours. This is the moment of awakening. This is what happens when someone stops defending what was never theirs to protect. Mykelty isn't just reclaiming her voice. She's reclaiming her life. And that's a lesson for all of us. It's never too late to stand up, speak out, and tell the truth about what you've lived through. The truth is powerful. The truth is liberating. And the truth will always set you free. And that's exactly where I think Mykelty is right now. Standing tall, speaking her truth, and refusing to play the games anymore. So I want to know what you think. Are you team go Mykelty? Or are you more like, whoa Mykelty, slow down? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from you. And before you go, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you love it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And don't forget to click the bell so you never miss a Soul Sister Wives video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.